It's showtime, it's yo time. It's game time, it's go time. You got one shot at a gold mine.
Welcome to the third season of Black Voices in Color, where we discuss profound topics that focus on Black identity, culture, and Black excellence. We are a student podcast produced by Denver Public Schools that elevates the voices of Black students in our district. I'm your host, Savannah Bland, and I'm here with
Anai Beasley.
Anai and Paris.
And of course, the best of the four, Joshua Aite.
Yeah, whatever.
That's a lie. Anyways, I'm so excited about this new year with all of these new hosts. All of our amazing co-hosts from DMOK last year are now graduated and are doing amazing things. Devon is doing well in college at Bowie State. Russell is playing football down at CU Pueblo. And Obina's up in Fort Collins at CSU. But to get us started, I want to ask a little icebreaker question. What's your favorite music genre, your favorite song, your favorite artist, all of it, and why? Josh, you start.
I would say by far underground rap. I feel like underground rap is definitely new and it has a lot of versatility inside of it. I enjoy new artists like Summers, new upcoming artists like Nino Pay, starting to get discovered. I like underground rap because I feel like the creativity they put in their songs, the samples to the lyrics, to the types of beats they choose, there's a lot of variety, there's a lot of effort behind it. And I feel like when artists become more mainstream, they kind of lose the creativity and passion that they produce. So I enjoy underground rap by far.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like underground rap, there's like new artists like every day. So there's always new music to discover.
Yeah.
There's always new artists to like listen to. The artists that I listen to a whole bunch of artists. Like I listen to Tana, Che, Nino, like it's everywhere. My music tastes everywhere. How about y'all?
Well, honestly, I listen to a lot of random music. Like, if y'all were to see a little bit of what I listen to, y'all wouldn't understand. 'Cause it's like sometimes I even listen to songs not even knowing the artist. It's just about how the song sounds. And like, I would say that I listen to stuff like I'm used to listening to, things I grew up hearing my family play, like R&B. I don't really like a lot of new music. Like, some of it is good, but some artists just be mumbling. They be doing too much. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, why did you start doing music,
Nah, underground definitely has its flaws.
Yeah,
and me too. I'm definitely an R&B girly. I kind of like all of the above. I love like love music, I guess I would say.
Boring.
No, never that.
Josh, don't start. But I'm a real like Lauryn Hill, Jill Scott, Erykah Badu, Sade. But then I like the new stuff too. I like Janae. I like Summer Walker and Marie. Like I like the new stuff too. So I really just like stuff with melody. Like I can like underground rap and like the new rap and stuff like that. When it's got like a mixture of that slow beat underneath and a rap on top, I can still vibe to it because it's still got that melody to me. But I'm definitely an R&B person. I feel like it's just the vibe that I'm usually in. I like something more mellow, something more low key.
It's home.
Yeah, and it's just comforting. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, as a new host, really excited for you guys to get to know us and hear about some of our upcoming podcasts for the season. So, now let's start with you.
Well, I'm an 18-year-old senior. I go to the Martin Luther King Jr. Early College.
Yeah.
And I would say that as a student, even since I started high school, I've always just been productive with my work. Like, I don't like to go slack off with my friends and ditch or anything when I know I got stuff to do. Like, it's just good to stay on top of your work. That way it pays off in the future. And, like, that way I can move on to the next thing without having to worry. And I know how hard school can get, so I like being that support system for my friends.
Yeah.
And they don't always have to just go to an adult, I relate to them, and it's good to use your resources, like people who are the same age as you. And I also like to put my best effort in any project I work on too. So what about you, Paris?
I'm a 17-year-old senior at the MLK, and I'm somebody who I'm kind of all over the place, but that's okay. But I get my work done, I get good grades.
Yeah.
And I also have my side things, like my hobbies. Like I make music sometimes, I draw, skateboard. I'm just now learning the guitar. There's a whole bunch of things that I do.
That's big. How's that? Guitar?
Guitar is something else, bro. Like,
when did you start doing that?
I got my guitar for Christmas, like just recently.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just now working on it.
Is that like How did you get that though? Like, have you always wanted to play guitar and your parents just bought you a guitar? Like, where did it come from?
Like, I asked my mom for one, I believe last year, and she took note of that and she kept it in mind, and I finally got one. So yeah, I'm working on that.
That's super cool.
Yeah, thank you. But how about you?
Well, honestly, just like Anai, I'm definitely a person who I like to get stuff done. I've been in so many extracurriculars over the past few years.
Everything.
And I am in everything.
Everywhere. Savannah's everywhere. You go to the school, Savannah's hosting the event before the event's happening. Like, how?
You should see like 3 posters around the school with her face.
Everywhere.
But yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I like to get stuff done, and I like to be a part of everything. And that's just kind of like what I do, you know?
I don't know. I need to ask. So as a procrastinator, I don't know how you guys do it. Productivity, I get my work done, but if I got a little bit of room and I got a little bit of extra time, I'm gonna spare that time, Yeah. But if I know it gets getting, I'm gonna get done. But like, my question to y'all is, what keeps y'all so driven all the time?
Well, honestly, just thinking about how eventually, like, all the hard work will pay off. Like, I know it gets hard when you get sucked up into, like, assignments piling up. Yeah. But you just think, like, all this is going towards something. And eventually, one day, I will be done, and I'll be happy with the results. So that's just what I try to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm kind of the same way. It's definitely, like, that end goal. But I honestly think that's just who I've become as a person. I've become someone who takes advantage of every opportunity. Somebody asks me to do something, and I'm probably going to say yes, even if I already have a busy schedule, because that's just kind of what I like doing. I like to be busy, I like to be knowledgeable, and I like to be a leader. So I feel like it's kind of just become who I am, and like I am kind of the same way. Like this, all of this is for my future and who I want to be. But I know that even when I'm in college and I'm successful and all that, I'm still going to be doing everything in the world possible.
Yeah,
so,
we know.
All right. But yeah, that's just who I am. So
what are some of the extracurriculars you do, and why are they personal to you?
Well, I've been in volleyball and soccer for the past few years, and I did try to do basketball this year. It's been going good. I've been having some fun. We're not winning right now, but it'll come.
What? We've only lost one game.
Y'all got that. It'll get there.
We've lost 3.
But in league, we're only.
I see. But I'm in Inspire, in SACS, AYLS, Student Council, Inroads, this podcast. There's the list can go on, but. It really just seems like I've become the type of person who likes to do everything, and when opportunities are given to me, I really do take advantage of them. And I love to be busy. I know that it is hard, especially like I know when going into high school, still wanting to do everything. It's hard to handle that school life and this, but I feel like I've done what I needed to make sure that I get stuff done. And I love to be in sports. I love to be competitive and have that adrenaline rush. And I have fallen in love with volleyball, and it's my favorite thing to do. And all the things that I do is so I can really be where I want to be in life. Like I love to be in unique places, and I love authenticity and individuality. And being a part of these things allows me to meet more people. And I am biracial, so being biracial does require a lot more effort from me to find out who I am and what kind of person I want to be. So everything that I have been a part of is like slowly helping or inspiring like my purpose and who I want to be.
Wow.
How's it like being biracial?
Honestly, it's difficult, and being an only child and having divorced parents does not make it any easier. I feel like I've struggled to kind of find like the people who are really there for me. Like I have my black side and I have my white side, but I never feel like I'm ever going to be like fully accepted for the exact person who I am. I always feel like I have to be a certain side of myself, and I feel like I'm only being accepted by the side that I'm showing. I feel like I can't be exactly who I am. And it was also hard, especially in like elementary school. Like I did go to predominantly white schools, and I feel like it did take a lot of work for me to kind of figure out like who I was surrounding myself with, and I really needed to change. And like I've been living with my dad for the past couple of years, and he's really been like guidance for me. And just I just think about how I was mistreated then, and kind of how I can't blame it on on like the students, but I blame it on like the parents, because it is like the parents like kind of telling the kids how they should feel about certain people, and it's ignorance, you know, it's a lot of uneducation. So I do think about like the things that I was called, you know, and the words that I was said to me, and I might be like a lighter complexion, but it's still frustrating, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I am grateful that I'm still able to like still figure out who I want to be, and it is hard to like be both, because there's not a lot of people who are both, you know, and kind of understand, like it's usually a community, it's a Black community and it's a white community, but at the end of the day I just have to realize I am both, and that's okay, you know, and I don't have to pick one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, do you feel like if you had a sibling, you have had someone that like had your back more, or it would have been easier for you?
Honestly, I really do. Like, I do wish that I kind of had a person who was going through similar things. And I feel like the stuff that I've gone through, I have been able to, like, be strong and get through it. But I just feel like if I had a sibling or something, I wouldn't feel like I had to handle everything alone. Like, I feel like a lot of the time I'm kind of, like, defensive about the things I go through because I'm used to going through things alone. It doesn't bother me now, but I just wish that when I was younger, I wouldn't have had to have as many issues. And I think if I had a sibling, I would have just had been able to connect with somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Josh, I know you have siblings. Do they make your life any easier or what?
Definitely. My brothers to me were a big aspiration and a big help in me searching for purpose. A lot of growing up, you know, we grew up in the church household, we grew up in the musical household, we grew up in an athletic household, you know, all these kinds of different variations. I feel like when it comes to my siblings specifically, like, they're right there every day. You know, I sleep, you're right next to the room. I wake up, you're right next to me in the room, you know? So it's like, I'm always seeing you, you know, and they're older than me. I'm the youngest sibling too at that. So, you know, they're always older than me. They was always able to do the things that I couldn't do. So looking up to them was a very big part of me growing up. That's even why the reason I'm even on the basketball team, you know, growing up watching my brother play football. My brother's in college playing football right now. Like, those stuff are really big to me. You know, he's out there on scholarship offer. Like, that was really inspiring to me. You know, that really, you know, picked up my athletic side growing up. More about me. Of course, again, my name is Joshua. I'm big on sports. As Savannah said, you know, our year, it didn't start off the best. You know, we are 0-1 in our league, but you know, we just got started. We're a first year varsity team, so you know, you can't really ask for much. I'm very grateful for, you know, our coaches and our teammates that we're surrounded with. They really worked hard to put everything together. In my everyday life, I am a Christian and a musician on top of it. Being a Christian is very important to me. You know, it's a big part of my personality and who I am. I enjoy being a Christian because in my faith and in my relationship with God, I always feel rooted and I always feel comforted in what I go through and the obstacles that face me. And, you know, music is kind of that same way to me, too, because it's almost water in the sense of how fluid and shapeless it could be. And I really feel like music has that, you know, that uncanny ability to resonate with people. And so I really do enjoy being a musician because I feel like I have influence over the sound that I put out and I produce.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, music is just something that brings people together like it's nothing.
Yeah, really easily. Without even noticing.
Josh, I know that we had talked about, like, when we were practicing for this rehearsal, and I did have the question because you mentioned that your dad was a preacher, and I really want to know, do you think you still would have found Christianity even if your father wasn't a preacher or if your family didn't have Christian beliefs?
Yes, 1,000%. I feel like that because Christianity provides me, well, my relationship with God provides me, you know, love and comfort in many ways that nothing else can. And I feel like regardless of my upbringing, that I would have crossed paths with Christianity regardless.
I definitely agree with you because I feel like in this generation, people just don't know how to handle their emotions and they don't know what to lean on. And it's just important for people to have faith in something. And I like seeing people my age still in touch with God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel the same about God. Like, God is somebody that everyone looks for and doesn't even know it. Like, where someone is always looking for something to, as you said, like, lean on, rely on, you know, have faith in. And I guess I'm another Christian. I'm someone else who has faith in God. But more about me. I'm a 17-year-old senior. I'm not ready for college, bro. I'm not ready. But I'm just somebody who's been blessed with a lot of, like I said earlier, like I'm a creative person. Like I'm somebody who really enjoys music. I make music sometimes. I do photo editing. As I said, I'm learning guitar and everything else like that. Just it's a lot I got going on, but it's all blessings.
What's your inspiration behind all that? You say you're doing. I keep hearing the guitar, so you definitely got to be somewhat into instruments.
Okay.
But more broadly, you're more open to the music side. So why don't you touch bases on that? Why don't you talk about some of your inspirations? Where's this whole artsy side coming from?
A lot of my family is artists, so that's definitely one. Like my dad, he draws. My grandpa, he makes music, and then like some of my artist inspirations, they got to be like Tyler the Creator, like Juice X, all the like Mac Miller, artists that have passed away, and just it's a whole bunch of people.
And are you planning on making music?
I definitely would love to make music. Like I've been procrastinating bad, but it's okay. I'll get there.
We're finna get like Anai and Savannah.
Real productive.
You got time though, and you just got your guitar, so it's a perfect opportunity for you to start.
Yeah, I know.
Usually, you get better with more practice and more experience. So,
and don't feel like you have to like rush into it. Like the music will find you. You know what I mean?
That's.
And when you have time, and like focus on graduating and focus on things that make you happy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I know you mentioned how nobody has to earn your love, and I was just gonna say, how do you stick to that perspective when someone gives you a hard time or disrupts your peace?
I would say, like, being a loving person is, I don't know, I've just learned to be so humble. Like, I've learned, like, everyone is human. I've learned that everyone goes through what they've gone through. So if someone's, like, ignorant or doesn't know something or, like, treats me a certain way, I don't take it personally because I don't know what they've gone through and I can't tell them how to live their life.
Right. Now you guys got to know a little bit about who we are, but we want you guys to know why we're here.
Throughout this season, the audience is going to be able to learn more about us, but I think it's really important for them to understand why we wanted to be a part of this podcast in the first place, where we use our voices to speak on behalf of students. So, Josh, what would be your why?
First, I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I'm appreciative to everybody who had a plan and, a choice and, any participation in and allowing me to be here. Looking to improve the soul and experience of students around me is a big reason of even why I'm sitting here today. Even through Keys to the City, which is a small business I run through my own church, it's prioritized and dedicated to focusing on like the mental health of children, and is dedicated to prioritize, their mental health and how they process and how they should approach certain things that they go through. So me firsthand, I have witnessed firsthand how important it is for somebody to have a safe space to express their feelings and, have that personal home, that personal connection to go to with how they're feeling and what life is throwing at them. So, throughout the Black Voices in Color podcast, I aim to inspire students who look like me, inspire them to speak up and share their stories inside this cruel world where, young people face a lot of unprecedented challenges, and it's essential that they feel supported in everything that they go through.
What was your experience? Like, what made you want to start your business?
To me personally, I grew up with like a lot of issues dealing with comparison. Mm-hmm. To me, it was always about, what the next person had or what this person had, or, even growing up in the social media era, I'm always on my phone scrolling. I'm like, how you get this? This ain't even dropped yet. How you got this out? So it's little things like that where, I found myself growing to be insecure. And so, meanwhile, growing up with siblings, them being older and having to deal with what I'm going through now, their own senior years and, their own lifestyles, I then found myself, independent yet again. Everybody has their own personal life. So not having that, comfort space and that safe zone to go through, I feel like I knew there was going to be somebody who would go through the same thing I'm going through, or, maybe their situation was a little bit different. And so for me, that was like a big driving factor in why I decided to start Keys to the City, so that when kids like me or kids who, are approaching life and they see like, hey, I don't have a safe space to go through, there's organizations like these around them to help them and support them.
That's super cool.
Right. Well, how would you say that being half Haitian and half Ghanaian shape your perspectives and how you interact with your peers?
That's a good question. Definitely perspective. Perspective. To me personally, being Ghanaian and Haitian, I really see like a different side of my family, and seeing how they, you know, choose to perceive things, choose how they see to, you know, internalize things that they go through, it really puts a perspective on how when I come here and I come to school and I see how my peers interact and I see how my peers choose to, you know, process things. So that big perspective on the two different lifestyles, you know, I feel like I offer perspective and lens to every table that I'm at, you know, every conversation that I'm in. I can say like, hey, you know, on this side of the world, I've seen this. And, you know, and this is only this, and I, you know, so I always have that back and forth comparison in my head and everything that I'm, you know, going through or just around.
Yeah, I'm big on perspective too. Like, one of my favorite quotes is, "Your perspective is your reality."
That's good.
And that's part of my why.
Who said that?
I said that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like official or what, but that's something I live by. And that goes into my why. Like, I'm here because I was given the opportunity and I would like to learn more about myself and learn more about, you know, who I am on the inside. And I was given this opportunity by Savannah. You know, she noticed that I don't speak a lot. And she was like, come hop on this podcast, you feel me, so you can speak more. And I definitely found more out about myself. So I'm definitely grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful that I'm able to speak to our people. Speak to the Black community,
right?
Speak about the students, what they go through, and everything like that.
I agree with what you said about speaking to the community, because I feel like not a lot of Black voices are like heard, especially in our community, and not many. It's not really common that chances are given like this. People get on in front of people and talk about Black voices. So I'm just happy to be here with you guys and have this opportunity.
Yeah. And it's really nice to see you flourish, Paris. Like, you might be very like to yourself and a little bit more introverted, but seeing that you have really taken advantage of this opportunity and you didn't let it like discourage you. Yeah. And it's been great seeing you open up, and it's really great that we are having this experience and we're having this conversation.
And Savannah, you've been here for multiple seasons now.
I know, it's crazy.
What's your why? What's that looking like? What made you say yes?
Well, so Miss Brown had asked me to be on the podcast sophomore year, and so now I'm a senior. And so when she first asked me about it, I was still kind of entering that stage where I wanted to do everything.
Right.
So when she told me, she really told me that I have a perspective and that I'm very mature with what I talk about and I know what I want to talk about. And the fact that she acknowledged that really made me want to do it more. And it's more like I realize how I've grown throughout this podcast. I realized that really this does help. Like my public speaking, I found that I've come to be an amazing public speaker. I'm already kind of extroverted, but it's really allowed me to kind of handle the way I talk better, handle my opinions, and really know what I want to say before I say them, and not just go just because I'm nervous or just because I want to say something. Yeah. This podcast has really allowed me to think about who I am and who I want to be, and really know about me more as a person. You know, I got to go to DC last year and visit the African American History Museum, and that's what I'm saying, like experiencing new people as well, you know, like the people on the podcast this year and now us. And so it's really just valuing like those relationships and those opportunities. So I feel like this podcast, it's more like what it's done for me now, because I can't remember like what was my first thought, you know, because I was kind of just like, I just want to do it, you know, but now it's really like, I don't know where I would be without this podcast right now, because even Miss Brown, like, she makes me learn new things every day. You know what I mean? So it's just, that's what I value. You know, I value those conversations and those hard conversations and just those days that really make me reflect. But what about you, Anai?
Well, honestly, I've never really been a social person, like really, really social. I can make friends, but it's always been a challenge for me. But my main reason for being in this podcast was really so I could like put more of my communication skills into practice, specifically with people my age, because it's something, like I said, it's something that I've always struggled with. Yeah. And I feel like this is going to be a learning experience. Like, it's going to make me better at that. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think there's a lot of stereotypes out there about Black students that I would personally like to debunk. Right. And I just know that there's like Black students that don't deserve to be made out to be the students they are when they put the hard work in every day. Yeah. And there's Black students that are in the same position as a white student, but the other student may be getting more praises than them just because of the skin color, and that's also something I want to talk about.
Right.
I just want to talk about things I feel may be a direct hit at Black students that I know isn't true based off my own personal experience and education. And to be honest, at first I said no to this podcast. Like last year, Miss Brown asked me because I just didn't feel like I was really up for it at the time, and like my mental health wasn't doing good, so I just don't think I would have been a good fit for it. But my mindset has changed this year, being our senior year, and I feel like I won't get this opportunity given to me again, so I just might as well take advantage of it.
What's that process like? Saying no to season 2, you could have been at DC. Do you ever regret it?
Yes, I
being
do.
At DC, y'all was everywhere too,
Yeah.
low key. Y'all did some stuff. Y'all did some fun stuff.
I definitely do like regret it. I feel like but with the mental health issues I was dealing with last year, like I said, I probably would have killed people's vibe or anything, or just threw the whole podcast off. So I'm glad I started it this year and didn't do it previously.
Yeah.
And everything happens for a reason, so it's good to know that like you handled what you needed to handle, and you're ready now, and now you're with us.
Right,
So,
and I'm happy to be here,
Yeah.
and it's a good experience too.
Yeah.
We're definitely glad to have you here. Glad you said yes. You know? Glad
Thank y'all for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely glad you decided to be here. You know, it's exactly these conversations that we plan to have throughout this whole season of the podcast. And, you know, I'm really excited about all the topics that we have lined up in the future. You know, advocating for Black students is at the heart of what we do. And I can't wait to continue these conversations with all you and stay more ready. You know, so be prepared for more engaging conversations coming your guys' way.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about things like Black art and Black culture, Black music, everything. And do students know enough about Black art and Black culture, and why is it necessary for them to learn about it? And are we doing enough to learn about our art and culture on our own? Are we really coming engaged with our own culture and really embracing it just like everybody else does, you know? So as young Black students, we need to know when we should really be embracing it. And even telling other people about it, but even stuff like exposing like the thing about Betty Boop, like she was inspired by an African American woman, and just how the whole style was kind of stolen. And so that's kind of some of the things that we want to talk about.
Something else we're going to be touching up on are Black stereotypes. I think it's really important because, like I said earlier, there's things Black students have done and hard work they put in I feel should not go unnoticed. And another thing is like discipline. I did a research project on this last year in Miss Q's class, but like discipline policies have been enforced on Black students to where they can feel targeted, and it can discourage them to want to even show up to school or just perform in their best way they can. And it just causes those stereotypes to kind of be made out to be true. And when administration and students lean and abide in those, it sets a false expectations of how Black students are supposed to show up in school, and I don't like that. So
that's a good topic in that.
I mean, definitely, yeah. I mean, as a young Black male growing up, I firsthand can say, you know, I go through a lot of stereotypes daily. I mean, it's not fond that, you know, every day I'm walking that, you know, something might occur to me, you know. Even when I'm in the elevator, you know, I might be in the best dress ever, you know, and I might see a woman clutch her purse, and you know, it's just those small things, you know. I'm not a threat to anybody, but, you know, I'm glad that we're here to talk about those things, you know, kind of open up and really uncover some of those things, which is why on that same note, our podcast that's going to cover Black empowerment, I feel like is very important. You know, we talk so much about the negative, you know, we hear the stereotypes, we hear the negative things, we see our things stolen, you know, that I feel like it's very important that we acknowledge and we really touch bases on some of those things that we really have. So Black empowerment to me is important because it's the uplifting of our culture, you know, it's the celebration of what our people have done. And so I feel like it's really imperative that we touch bases on that.
We do have a lot to look forward to. Josh, I want to say I really like how you discussed your Haitian and Ghanaian side and how things are dealt with in different cultures compared to the U.S. I'd say I really agree because just in my experience, I haven't been many places. I've only been to like 2 states. But being in those different areas, you will have people look at you crazy when you go there acting up. And they're like, like, see, if you grew up here, you would have been going about it a whole different way.
Yeah, right.
So I definitely understand that and where you're coming from. from.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. I enjoyed when you talk about and you share how your emotional maturity and how you felt like, maybe if you was to join last season, you wasn't at that ready. And I'm really big on self-development. So you touching on that was really big because, that emotional process as we go through high school and as we go through our daily lives in general is really big. So thank you for sharing that. And also you both talking about how driven you are, and what your, inside perception is on how your inside perception on what it's taking you guys to get your work done, and get things moving.
Yeah, and it's really nice to hear about why you guys are here and your purpose. Like, I did have a little bit of, saying who was going to be joining this year, and I had that conversation with Ms. Brown. So it's just really nice to know that, those conversations of trying to pick who to pick, and it really worked off. It really
worked out.
Yeah, I guess I should say, yeah, but it just... It everything worked how it should be, and it's really nice to know that you guys are here for the right reasons and that you guys are really here to inspire people and just to take full advantage of yourself and just make sure that you're using your voice.
Yeah, I really appreciate y'all for sharing, and it's really nice to get to know y'all more. And yeah, that's the end of our first episode, y'all. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed getting to know us a little bit more as hosts. Now it's time to get our work our work produced. So make sure to tune into the DPS Podcast Network, check out our upcoming episodes, and follow us on social media platforms.
We hope you guys enjoyed our conversation, and thank you guys for joining Black Voices in Color. If you enjoyed our show, please let us know how you're feeling about it and our topics so far, and what we'll be discussing as a whole. Leave your comments or feedback on our Instagram page, and be sure to come back for our next episode solely based on Black student mental health and the way we navigate through challenges in life and our education. Of course, until our next remarkable comeback.
This is Joshua, and I'm signing off.
I'm Savannah again. Bye, guys. Join us next time.
I'm Anai. Thank you all for listening.
And I'm Anai and Paris. Peace out, y'all.
Awaken the soul, empower the mind.